process. So, Marcus, what are you doing here?
I'm trying to collect sap. Oh, it's wet here.
Whoa, it's
Whoa.
already dripping!
Much has happened in the past 3 weeks. I started living off the land, I continued work on my rocket stove, and I got a big hole in the ground.
It's March 25th, Monday, and tomorrow they're coming to dig a well. And they're gonna dig it right there.
So in trying to preserve as much topsoil as possible, I started digging it out and moving it onto the driveway, and anywhere where it wouldn't be completely covered by the sand and all the ground that they would dig up from the well. The next day, 3 men came to start digging a well with a shovel and bucket. As you can see here, they lay down these concrete rings, which are about a meter wide and 70 centimeters deep, and they dig underneath them until the ring goes lower and lower into the ground. And as you'll shortly see, it's pretty interesting how they add on the next rings. They just roll it on and keep digging underneath and repeat the process. And so the deeper they dig, the longer it takes to get the dirt out.
They dug out 12 rings. So you can see one of these. I did not expect there to be this much ground. I started freaking out at how much of the soil that I was covering. So I decided to dig out these areas ahead of them. I made these little stairs so that I could not destroy the moss.
The final well ended up being 14 rings deep with 1 ring above ground. Then I got back to working on the rocket stove. Last I left off, there was just a hole in the greenhouse. Once I returned, I started laying out the foundation of what would be the rocket stove. And as you can see here, because I salvaged all of my bricks from people's old scrap yards, there was a lot of work cleaning them off so that the surfaces would be flat and workable. You get the idea. Once the foundation was set, I set another foundation of fire bricks. And then weather happened.
It was really sunny and nice 3 days ago, and now it's blizzarding. Otherwise, I can finally work inside. I'm testing out a build. I'm doing my first rocket stove test run. Nothing here is sealed together. It's just the bricks put together. Got a little fire that's going on inside here. And it's working.
Once I knew that I had something that worked, it was time to put it together with clay.
I laid the clay down and laid the first layer. I found my dorky glasses that I thought I might need. Anyways, I laid down the first layer of fire bricks. I lined out the next layer. Now I'm gonna get my hands dirty and mix it around with clay and connect it.
It helps a lot that my neighbor on the hill has a lot of clay, so all I had to do was leave it in a bucket of water until it dissolved into this slurry that I could use as a kind of glue to glue the bricks together.
This is how a rocket stove starts. Now it started burning sideways. Just needed a little push in the right direction. In case it's not obvious, it's spring already. I cooked my first real meal. Got oats with some nettle that I picked.
With spring here, I started learning how to live off the land, and that means eating what's readily available.
That's how you fill up about 1 day. I've even discovered like a nifty harvesting technique. Put your finger underneath and wrap around them and just pull. And ta-da. Apparently spring is harvest time for mustard. This is a root pulled out of the ground. And this is what it looks like when it's cleaned off. I'm making a forage dinner. I've got ground elder here, stinging nettle, and some wild thyme.
So there is going to be a lot of sap. If it's dripping like this, nice.
Wow. And then that's how you collect sap from a birch tree. One of the big challenges that hasn't gotten away is figuring out what you should be doing next. Because there's certain times of the day when it's too cold. The weather is finally getting much better during the daytime, but it's still dipping below freezing at night. So in the morning, well, the clay is too cold to work with my hands. It's still too frozen. And then it's not clear if you should be taking a break or enjoying your time if you're working too hard or if you're working too little. My roommate in Vilnius asked if I ever get the desire to be lazy and just sit around, and no, it's like there's so many things like chores to get food. I find that I'm working myself too hard, and it's hard to remember to do my good habits from previously, like writing my diary and drawing and doodling and exercising, because there's so many other things I could be doing that I feel like I should be doing. What I love about this living off the land is that I get to learn my own small improvements and adjustments and aha moments. Like when I decided to make a pillow out of trash bags and a sack that I found. I have finally found a more elegant solution for my trash bags. I found this sack left in my grandmother's basement, and I can just shove it in.
Otherwise, I've been working on the rocket stove for the most part.
Here it's another test run. It's burning sideways as it should.
And then I realized there's something called floor insulation that I needed. I learned that if you have a heat source that's touching the ground, basically the ground is going to suck all the heat and you need something to insulate it.
Starting off by undoing what I did earlier this week, which is digging out the sand, and I'll lay down the clay with straw. Let's hope that that's deep enough. So it took about an hour to dig this portion out. So here's the plan: to lay down about 19 centimeters of clay straw insulation along this whole path. Hope I'm doing this right. Getting this stuff all soggy and backing it in there. Put down the first 3.5 buckets load of clay and straw together, and got the other 3 buckets soaked, and tomorrow's gonna be another day.
Another day it was, but not for working on the rocket stove.
And now I'm on my way back to the city for the second time to stock up. Sometimes I catch a ride to the city and back by strangers, or my roommate brought me here last time. Other times you gotta carry on the pack mule stuff and walk to the next village, which is only like a 25-30 minute walk away.
Shortly thereafter, a car stopped and gave me a ride to town.
And voila, I feel like a wild animal back in the city.